Well, a local doctor says that he created his own streaming app that offers family-friendly content. And he also says that it helps regulate screen time for your children. Dr. Ali Shehata joins us now to explain more on how it works. Thank you so much for joining us.
It's an honor and pleasure to be here.
Yeah, we're happy to have you. So what is the name of your app and what made you want to create it in the first place?
Yeah, it's called FamCinema, and so it's a streaming platform. And honestly, the reason that I thought about doing it was because I was really tired as a parent of seeing all the binge watching and all the really unhealthy programming that we see on so many of the platforms today, and decided to do something that's more family friendly.
Okay, and so how does FamCinema work?
So FamCinema is essentially very similar to Netflix or Hulu or any of the other streaming applications, but we do have some subtle differences. First of all, one of the things that we do to help control screen time is that we don't have a subscription model. So what we do is we try to encourage people to kind of make an event out of a program. So if you're going to watch a TV show or you're going to watch a movie, watch it together as a family. It's a pay-per-view type of system.
Okay.
So they buy it. It's like a ticket, just like going to the theater. It's where you get the cinema from, and so you buy the ticket, you sit together as a family, you watch it, and talk about it afterwards, or be together.
Yeah, and it's positive content.
Absolutely. So it's very family-friendly content. So we're very careful. I mean, everything is essentially G or PG rated, and what we call it, harkening back to the golden age of film. So when you think about like some of the earlier films, like the Audrey Hepburn movies or Cary Grant, all these movies were essentially, I mean, they didn't have any of the nudity, the sexual themes, the profanity, the glorified violence, the glorified substance abuse, all of these things that are having an impact on our kids today.
Yeah, and as a doctor, I'm sure that you see it even in a different light too. I know you're a parent, but you can see kind of how this could affect our children going forward.
Absolutely, and we're already seeing it. And so like the binge watching, what that does is it encourages adults even, but a lot of our kids to kind of sit in their rooms by themselves, watch hours and hours of programming, so they have no interpersonal contact, they're not creating friendships, they're not going outdoors, and so we're seeing a rise in obesity and type 2 diabetes in very young children.
Yeah, it's alarming really when you look at the numbers. You're also a first-generation American and a Muslim American.
Yes.
You also say that's important for them to see a variety of people.
Yes. So one of the things that kind of hurt for me as a child growing up, so I grew up in the East Coast in Maryland, and every time we'd see a Muslim character on any type of television program or a movie, they were always the villain, they're always the bad guy, they're always, anytime somebody was practicing their religion, they had to be a bad person. And that sends a lot of very negative messages to a lot of our kids. And so as part of my work and part of my community work, I talk to young people, and some of them are Muslim young kids, and so it hurts them to see that. They don't see a positive representation of their culture or of their background, of their religion portrayed on any type of media. And that doesn't just go for Muslims, it goes for African Americans, for Asian Americans, and so forth. That it seems like that everything is stereotyped, right? We always talk about the stereotype, and that's a very negative way for a child to grow up. And I've had young Muslim kids talk to me and say, like, am I a bad person? Because they only show us as being bad people, but I'm not a bad person. And it's heartbreaking to hear that from a young child.
Yeah.
That just because that's what they see.
Yeah, and that can have a negative impact on other children seeing that as well, because like you said, they'll stereotype possibly going forward because that's all that they see.
Exactly.
All right.
I've had that experience many times as an adult, that people, when they hear that, because they don't know much about it except what they see on television, they automatically assume negative things, and then later on they're like, oh, I didn't realize you're such a nice person, and you're such a compassionate doctor, and I'm like, well, why wouldn't you?
Yeah, so helping folks out and helping families bring them together. So kind of multifaceted here what you're doing with FamCinema. And where can people find it?
So it's available on the Android App Store. It's available on most of the smart TVs, Roku TVs, Google TVs, the Fire TVs, Samsung and LG, and it's available online as well. And it should be coming to Apple very soon.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Shehata, for
Thank you
joining us and explaining what this is, and all the best of luck with your streaming service.
Thank you. Look forward to it.
Yeah, let's go ahead now and talk more about Miss